Hello and welcome back to another KCC video. I'm Rob and today we'll be jumping into some I Don't Work Here Lady. Our first story today comes to us from BillIM 201. I know it's your number, but let's jump right in. Another post on here reminded me of this one. Quite some time ago, my girlfriend and I, now my wife of more than 15 years, moved in together and had to set up all the things. Cable, internet, phone, etc. We got our home phone number, our 2 cell phones, and we were off to the races. Almost immediately, we started getting calls for an establishment that does custom framing and various other art-related things. Let's call them Expo for Art. Of course, we had caller ID and we had friends that would call us, but inevitably, if we didn't recognize the number, it was someone wanting to find out if their order was complete, or their frame was done, of what their hours were, or any of 1,000 other questions. I'm sure anyone else who had this happen will recognize this exchange. Sorry, that's no longer their number, this is a residence. Yes, I'm sure. No, I'm not giving you my address. No, I don't know their new number. Yes, I have a phone book, but so do you. Eventually, after 1,000 of these, and changing the message on our answering machine to say, this is not, I repeat, not Expo for Art. If you are trying to reach Expo for Art, please hang up, look up their number, and try that, because we aren't them. Eventually, I got my gazillionth call, and I asked the person on the other end of the line where they keep getting this number. Well, it's printed on my receipt. I guess I'll just call this other number. Any chance you can give me that one? Thanks. I call it. Hello, Expo for Art. You guys are still giving out my home phone number on your receipts? Yeah, so, well, effing stop it. It's been at least a year since you haven't had that number. At least cross it out or something. That's a pain in the butt. I'm not making my employees do that. So, you're the manager? I'm the owner. So, let me see if I have this right. You, what was your name again? Let's call him Fred. You, Fred, have decided that it's too inconvenient to cross my home phone number off of your receipts, so you're going to just keep giving it out? Yep, what are you gonna do, sue me? Maybe. Whatever, I've got crap to do. Bye. I called a lawyer. Didn't really have a leg to stand on. I went to the store and asked for Fred. Fred's not here. He's hardly ever here, really. You want me to call him? No, I'm fine. I know this is going to sound odd, but is there any chance I can see one of your receipts? She picks up a receipt book and shows it to me. Sure enough, it's got my phone number at the top, above another one. I say, I thought so. I couldn't get you at the other number. Some guy yelled at me, and I didn't have my old receipt, so I had to come down here. We've been having that happen a lot, ever since Fred decided we didn't need 2 phone lines. But he had just bought like 20 boxes of these receipt books and business cards, and he's too cheap to buy more until they run out. I'd hate to be that guy. Yeah, that's gotta suck. So I went home and hatched my evil plan. Next phone number I didn't recognize. Hello, Expo for Art. Hi, this is Mary Smith. I dropped off a thing last week to be framed. Is it ready? Let me check. Yep, we finished it this morning. I hope you don't mind, but we decided to upgrade the matting because of the weight of the piece. It's the same color and won't be charging you for it since it was my decision. Oh, thank you. I'll be down to pick it up later today. What time do you close? I looked down at the receipt with my number and the hours clearly marked 11 to 4. Take your time. We'll be here until 7. Thank you so much. Can you tell me how much that was? $19.99, ma'am, plus tax, so $21.39. Wow, that's cheap. Are you sure? Of course. If anyone has a problem, tell them you talked to Fred. Okay, see you around 6. See you then. Thank you for calling Expo for Art. For weeks, I kept giving out completely random information. How much is a 36 by 48 matted frame? Let's say $24.99. Wow, that's cheap. How much to have it done custom? How they want it. Custom is an extra $10, so $34.99. Wow, that's cheap. I'll be right down. What was your name? Fred? See you in 10, Fred. How much to have the entire front page of the New York Times from 9/11 mounted and framed? $33.99 unless you want our special proprietary newspaper frame and mat service, only $49.99 and guaranteed for life. Only at Expo for Art. Tell them Fred sent you. I can only imagine the number of pissed off people who showed up to pick up orders that weren't ready, and when they finally were given a price way higher than what Fred had told them over the phone. Eventually, someone let slip that they called the number on the receipt, and that's what Fred had told them. Fred was not happy. Hello, thank you for calling Expo for Art. This is Fred. You're not Fred, I'm Fred. Are you trying to put me out of business? Why, Fred, whatever do you mean? Someone has been giving prices to my customers and telling them their orders are in when they're not due for weeks. Well, Fred, who called them? Nobody called them, they called us. Then what's the problem? If someone called you and got pricing information, that would seem to be your problem. They didn't call me, they called you. Well, how would that happen? Your number is on my receipts and business cards. My, it seems to me there's a very simple solution here. Take my number off your receipts and business cards. Do you have any idea how much promotional materials cost? Is it more than it costs to do these jobs for the prices you're quoting? Is it more than it costs to lose customers or less than that? This is extortion. Call it what you want, Fred. The choices and consequences are entirely up to you. A week later, hello, Expo for Art, this is Fred. I've ordered new receipt books and cards. Can you please stop this BS? Sure, bye, Fred. I love stories that fit into multiple categories, and this one definitely does. We have IDontWorkHereLady with some definite malicious compliance and a lot of pro-revenge. Do me a quick favor, have a look down below the video. If that subscribe button's still red, it means you're not actually subscribed to the KCC channel. Please hit that subscribe button for more daily Reddit stories. Our second story today comes to us from Whip Solo. Karen demands I move 2 cars impounded by the police and meets Mr. Sparky. Let's jump right in. This story is from roughly 2013. I was an adjuster for Lizard Insurance and would go to many tow lots after car accidents and decide if a car was a total loss or send it to a body shop, as well as do the initial write-up of an estimate on repair costs. The tow lot I was at this day also worked with the state police and housed their overflow storage for anything deemed evidence and on hold from release. These vehicles were kept behind a locked gate inside the already fenced, gated tow yard. I was there to do an appraisal on 2 vehicles that had been involved in a minor accident. However, both were left unable to drive from the scene due to either multiple flats, lights knocked out, or windows busted. I finished the first vehicle and I've started taking photos of the second vehicle. I have headphones in and I'm listening to the album Cavalcade by the Flatliners. Seriously, check them out. Anywho, I see a woman, I'd guess around 50, walk up to the police evidence lot and the gate swings open out of the corner of my eye. Not paying much attention as the vehicles I was working with were on the same side of the lot, but about 50 meters down from the evidence lot. As my back is turned to this woman I will hereon refer to as Karen, I take the last couple of photos I need. The last being a photograph of the VIN of the vehicle, which is located where the windshield meets the hood, almost on the dash through the windscreen. I hope this makes sense. Karen, out of literally nowhere, grabs both cables to my headphones from behind and rips them out of my ears. Excuse me, why are there 2 cars in front of mine so I cannot get it out? This lot would stack cars in 4 or 5 deep side by side and move them around with a small truck to release them. Please don't touch me, and I don't think you should be in here, and I don't work. You shouldn't be listening to music on the job anyway, or slacking off taking pictures of other people's belongings. You're probably back here stealing. I attempt to point at the Lizard Insurance logo on my blue jacket, but Karen continues on. Are you going to do your job, or do I need to call the police because you're refusing to give me my property? Have you went into the office at ABC Towing? No, I saw you here, and you need to move these cars so I can get mine and leave. As Karen opens the door and gets into the first car that's blocking her, hey, no, you can't go in there, that is police evidence. I use my cell phone to call ABC Towing and inform them. If you won't move these cars, then I will. Where are the effing keys? In the office with the employees. At this time, the manager comes running out with one of those weird smartphone Nextel style phones in his hand. Hey lady, get the hell out of there. Those cars are property of the state police. Manager frantically uses his Nextel to talk to someone. Manager sees the chain used to keep the lot closed has been cut with bolt cutters. Karen was carrying a pair of bolt cutters and had thrown them into her car when she was back at it. Manager and Karen argue back and forth. I intently listen and half pay attention as I finish my duties for work. About 8 to 10 minutes pass and 7 police cars come flying into the back lot. Manager greets the police and explains what is going on, but not after Karen attempts to scream at the police that I had stolen her car. Police tell Karen to stand over in a direction he points, sending one officer to wait with her. Turns out the lieutenant was on scene who was in charge of the county's police tow licenses. After getting manager's story, lieutenant comes to me and takes mine. While I'm informing him of what happened, Karen overhears and starts yelling and attempting to approach me. The officer standing with her grabbed her by her arm. Karen yanked the arm free of the female officer's hand and shoved her, surprisingly knocking the officer down. Karen is screaming incoherently as she charges towards me. The lieutenant steps in front of me and with his taser hits Karen with the most beautiful sound in the world. Karen goes limp and face plants in the dirt and gravel of the lot and skids lightly. They immediately handcuff her. Turns out, Karen had walked into the lot carrying the bolt cutters while I was in the office talking with staff about the 2 cars I needed to adjust. She had been roaming the lot until she saw me and I happened to be near her car. Karen was charged with burglary, 2 counts of tampering with evidence, assault on a police officer, assault on me, trespassing, and resisting arrest. I know Karen did jail time, but I'm not sure how much. Years later, the tow company I now own impounded her car for being double parked. She remembered who I was and quietly paid. Wait a minute, let me double check the subreddit we're reading. Is this r/that happened? Moving on. Our next story today comes to us from AF Keeker. I don't work here and neither does my bag. Let's jump right in. Well, hello again, fellow non-employees. It's been quite a while since I had something to share, what with the global panini and all. However, I was recently forced to reset the counter to read, it has been 0 days since our last I Don't Work Here Lady incident. For those who aren't aware, Aldi is a chain of mid-sized grocery stores. They rebranded themselves a few years ago as a sort of middle ground between a standard grocer and Whole Foods, with options healthier than say Walmart, but not full-on super health craze like Whole Foods. But one of the defining characteristics of Aldi is that you pay for your cart. There's a device that locks all the carts together, so when you need one, you insert a quarter into the device, decoupling it from the next cart. When you finish shopping, you return the cart to the line and recouple it, at which point you can then remove your quarter. However, Aldi does not offer a similar function for anything else, not hand-carried baskets, and definitely not for bags. This is where our story begins. I do most of my grocery shopping at Walmart, but I do hit the Aldi nearby for a few small things. Usually, I don't need to bother with a cart due to the low volume. Instead, I bring in my own foil-lined insulated bag. I have the bags because I live out in the country, so when I get takeout or buy cold stuff at the store, the stuff is still hot or cold respectively by the time I get home 15 minutes later. When I go to Aldi, I just bring the insulated bag in with me, put items into it while I shop, tell the cashier how many of each item I have, so I don't even need to unload them, and easy peasy, no carts required. As I left the store, had just removed my mask as I passed through the doors. A few weeks ago, our dear Karen saw me with the bag in hand. I hadn't zipped it up yet, as I was still messing with the mask and had some fridge cold stuff from Walmart I was going to put in the bag in the truck before I started home. Karen must have seen that it had the foil insulation with purchased items, and this is what ensued. "Hey, you!" snapping fingers. Why do they always snap? You! I turned to face her. "Yes? Give me that when you're done," points at my bag. "Ma'am, these are my groceries. I won't be done with them until I eat them in the coming weeks." "I know that. What do I look like? A moron?" "Well, I mean the bag, idiot." "Ma'am, this bag is also mine." "Yeah, it's yours now, but when you bring it back to get your coin, then I want it." Again, this is my bag, not the store's. Aldi doesn't have bags. They only do the quarter thing for the carts. BS, they have bags at the checkout. I can see them from here. Yeah, those are for sale, not temporary use. And this bag isn't from Aldi. I got it on Amazon. Whatever, you should still bring it to me. I only need it for a few minutes and I don't have a quarter for the cards anyway. Oh, so we're in one of those situations. Gotcha, effery mode engaged. In my current military job, I'm an instructor, and one of the skills we master during this assignment is the art of staring in silence with a completely blank look on your face. It's a great tool to force students to engage in discussion, embracing the silence until one of them gets so uncomfortable that they start talking about anything to just break the silence. We also use continuous questions to challenge students to delve deeper into topics. Lots of why and how questions that force them to come to their own conclusion. I stared at Karen like an instructor. Karen, after almost 10 seconds, well, what? What are you waiting for? Go unload your groceries and bring me that bag. She was approaching shrill by the end of that sentence. Why would I do that? Because I need that bag to shop. Why is that my problem? What are you talking about? Why is your lack of bag or coin something I need to help you with? Visibly struggling with the effort of thinking, because, head cocks to the side a bit, then she rallies back into the indignation mode. Ugh, just get out of my face, you little crap. Weren't you the one who stopped me to demand I give you my personal property? Karen devolved into guttural utterances that barely resembled a spoken language. I was still hiding behind my stoic instructor face. You people are what's wrong with this country. She stormed off into the store without a cart. Have a wonderful day, as I waved at her. Oh, the joys of malicious passivity. You won't give me the stuff that you own for free so I can use it? Yeah, because that's exactly how life works. Get bent, Karen. Check out all 3 OPs linked in the description down below. Thanks for watching, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.